Today's supercomputers are tomorrow's laptops.
What is supercomputer?
When you have to perform enormous number of mathematical operations per second, minimum 1 billion operations per second.
तो आपने परम क्यों नाम रखा?
Param means supreme, parallel machine. So Param, if you are launching a rocket, how are you sure that this will take a trajectory which will eventually reach the moon? Eventually, I remember one scene where Appu, that boy, young boy, sees the first train. This question was asked to me by Rajiv Gandhi. How much time it will take? I said, I have not seen this. What India has achieved in very short time, this was the digitalization at the very street level. Sam Petrura said that, so how many engineers we can produce? We can produce some 100 engineers. No. I want 1,000 engineers to be created. So we created 6-month course. We have trained about 2 crore people. 2 crore.
आपने रॉकेट बॉयज देखी है?
I enormously liked it. I'm talking about the ancient India, Vedic India. That time we had a liberal culture where you can choose your husband by own choice, Swayamvar. How liberal that society was at that time.
कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि घर में वाईफाई स्लो हो गया?
This is a common experience. You may be working on supercomputers, but your computer will not work. The approval of Rajiv Gandhi's original file without original signature of Rajiv Gandhi was missing. So people were not getting salary for 6 months. I was in the space mission, I was in the electronics mission. So we used to know each other because we used to discuss.
Everybody is talking about Nalanda's glorious past.
Somebody came to me in Pune saying, are you ready for a challenging task before you? We want to build now future in Nalanda. The machines will one day take over. That is the question.
Are there moving robots?
That is actually happening also.
How many years?
Very soon, within a decade.
नमस्ते, पॉप में आपका स्वागत है। आज हमारा परम सौभाग्य है कि आज हम उस हस्ती के साथ हैं जिन्होंने परम सुपर कंप्यूटर का परंपरा चालू किया था। आज हम बात करेंगे पद्म श्री पद्म भूषण श्री विजय भाटकर जी से। नमस्ते सर, स्वागत है आपका।
नमस्ते।
मैं कुछ अनाप शनाप भी सवाल कर सकता हूँ क्योंकि सुपर कंप्यूटर के बारे में हमको सिर्फ 2 चीज़ ही ज़्यादातर पता है, एक सुपर है, दूसरा कंप्यूटर है, बस इतना तक। पर इतना हमको पता है कि इस चीज़ की वजह से बहुत कुछ देश में बदल गया था, बदल रहा है और भी बदलेगा। एवरीबडी कॉल्स यू द फादर ऑफ सुपर कंप्यूटर। कैसा लगता है?
I don't think that I can claim that title. Yes, it is true that I developed one of the first supercomputers of India. But I don't think I can own that title. I don't like that really in that sense because there have been supercomputers earlier to me in the world. I cannot claim that.
In India, तो at least we can take.
Yes, in India, yes.
Unless until your son has objection.
Yes. So definitely we started at parampara of supercomputers with the announcement of first supercomputer from India. In this, and that was Param. Param means supreme. Param by definition means सुप्रीम।
तो आपने परम क्यों नाम रखा?
नहीं, ये इस बारे में हम सोच रहे थे कि पहला जब सुपर कंप्यूटर का मॉडल तैयार हुआ तो ऑब्वियसली क्वेश्चन था कि उसको वी मस्ट नेम इट। और मुझे चाहिए था, मैं सबके सामने एक क्वेश्चन रखा था, कई नेम्स आए थे, लेकिन मैं चाहता था कि इट शुड कनोट इन डिफरेंट वेज द होल पर्पज ऑफ दिस मिशन, सुपर कंप्यूटिंग मिशन. And its name should be Indian, rather it should Sanskrit. So I started searching, asking myself, what is in Sanskrit Param connotes? What is that it connotes? Immediately the name popped up in my mind is the supreme is Param. Param, anything with ultimate is achieved. That means Param. And that name popped up in my mind. And so I proposed that name, and that stuck. That everybody liked it enormously because it's a short name. Another thing is that Param also connotes the architecture of the machine, which we are trying to do. It's a parallel machine. What distinguishes from the ordinary computers was it's a parallel computer. So Param. So that also
Okay.
sounded very correct.
जो लोग ये पॉडकास्ट या इंटरव्यू देख रहे हैं मुझे नहीं लगता कि सब साइंस के बैकग्राउंड से हैं. सो प्लीज़ बताइए क्या सुपर कंप्यूटर क्या होता है. व्हाट इज सुपर कंप्यूटर.
So as the very term connotes, indicates, is that it is really a supreme computer. At that time. It's very important is at that time it's a supreme computer. Means one of the highest computers which can perform highest computing calculations per second. And that's a supercomputer. Obviously this definition is not static. Today's supercomputers are, as I said, are tomorrow's laptops. So what are supposed to be today supercomputers will be the pocket computers of tomorrow. But at that time, this is one of the supreme computers in the world at that time.
What can a computer do we know? Because every day we access majority of us playing video games, listening to songs and movies. Apart from that, computer has a serious job like in share market and in every aspect. Supercomputer works in which area or periphery of science?
Supercomputers are called upon really in the sense when you have to perform enormous number of computing per second. And that is measured in terms of number of mathematical operations per second. What is technical term is FLOPS, floating point operations per second.
In rocket science or in doing a rocketry work, is supercomputer is very much necessary?
Absolutely necessary.
Please elaborate about this a little bit.
No, for example, if you are launching a rocket and you launch from the Earth, how are you sure? How are you certain that this will take a trajectory which will eventually reach the moon, for example? That calculation has to be done before launching the rocket. And you have to take several parameters into account. And there has to be high mathematical calculations for that purpose. Means number of scientists will work on that. Number of mathematical things, space scientists will work on that, and that calculation is then earlier done. And then the rocket is launched. And then only it will reach the destination which is intended to be. So it requires high amount of computation because the mathematics are very complex for that purpose.
What is the first connection of your with a computer?
When I began on this process and this question was asked to me on behalf of the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi at that time, I said I have not seen a supercomputer. I have seen a picture of supercomputer which came only from Cray machines at them. There was only one company which used to manufacture. Samuel Cray was the designer of that. It was called Cray Computers.
You know, there is a very famous film which brings Indian cinema to the world, Pother Pachali by Satyajit Ray.
Yes.
Pother Pachali. It's a Bengali film, but it's an Indian film and it's create havoc in everywhere.
Havoc nahi.
बहुत कुछ मतलब.
It impressed you so much. I also seen that at the time. Satyajit Ray's film. And it made a great mark in the world.
Of course.
Yes.
So the cinematographer of the film is Mr. Subroto. That's the first day he is operating a cine camera. Before it, he never touched any cine camera. He just have a
I didn't know that.
Still camera. So when you said that you don't आपने कभी देखा नहीं था एक सुपर कंप्यूटर, जस्ट इमेज देखा था, तो मुझे उस चीज की भी याद आ गई.
I remember from Pather Panchali, I remember one scene where Appu, that boy, young boy, sees the first train
Train.
First engine.
हाँ
And with awestruck, we were so enamored by that.
हाँ.
And I remember that scene. So it was something like that for us.
So as a child, like, are you also mesmerized with the scientific instruments or scientific unique elements like Oppo?
Absolutely, yes. That moment, I think, coming out with the first supercomputer, what we were designing, and of course we're studying the various developments which are occurring in the field. And when the first model was ready, we were really thoroughly, greatly impressed by that whole thing. And that was something like hope.
कितना टाइम लगा था इस पूरा प्रोसेस में सुपर कंप्यूटर बनाने के लिए, पड़ोम बनाने के लिए?
I think we that time we had estimated, and this question was asked to me by Rajiv Gandhi. How much time it will take?
हाँ, as a prime minister he has to ask.
I said, I have not seen a supercomputer. But I intuitively said, spontaneously said, that it will take about 3 years. Why? Because 4 years was too much and 2 years was not feasible. So I said 3 years. And we had to make that mission in 3 years. And that was the word given.
In the time of Rajiv Gandhi, I think he has funded several science projects in India.
Yes.
So,
It began on the era of starting technology missions. We must launch many projects like me. Earlier, what we used to do, the R&D, research and development. No time was specified. No amount was specified. Mission means technology mission means it will be done in this much of time, and that specification was also chosen. 1 billion operations per second. That was the current state of the art at that time. So the supercomputer by definition at the time should be the computers which perform minimum 1 billion operations per second. That was not possible for ordinary computers. And that's why they are called supercomputers.
There is a motto of government, it's Digital India.
Yeah.
How much digitalization is creating an impact of people's life?
I think digitalization is creating enormous impact. If you ask me, when after the computers, this is one revolution, digitalization of everything what we do, particularly the financial transaction, what we do. What India has achieved in a very short time, whereby the ordinary transactions by sabji walas, by the hotel walas, are done using computers. There is a major change, I think. If you ask me what are the major transformation of India, this was the digitalization at the very street level kind of thing, which not many countries have accomplished, not advanced countries have achieved, but this has happened in India. I am very impressed by that.
Where do you see India's digital forces in next 5 to 10 years? Where we will be?
India is now recognized as an IT nation. Why? Information technology nation, not USA, not European country. It is India. It's called something has to be developed in information technology. I think Indian computer engineers will be called. I think we have trained largest number of engineers or scientists in information technology in the world.
Largest number.
And that's why India's impact is how India is recognized. India is recognized because it's the impact information technology made. I think if you see the the cities of India, how it completely changed. Pune before supercomputers and after supercomputers or computers, they're completely different. I came here from my village, and what is the village there, what is the Pune there then, and what is Pune now? Because of information technology, institutes that have come up. The way C-DAC, the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, the institute which was created
by him.
Created by me.
Him, that's important.
Me means my entire team. This entire team, 100 engineers like that. That made considerable impact, which we'll discuss now.
Please discuss about C-DAC.
Oh, C-DAC.
Why you have created this, and
the question
what's the motto and what's its now present condition?
Question that time was that, of course, we required a research institute to develop the supercomputer in a sustainable way, not only once. I should be able to, because we knew the technology will be rolling. And every 14 months, I think the computing power doubles at the same cost.
At the same cost, it's double. So I want to clarify it, like आप पकड़ लो कि आपने कोई गेहूं आप उगा रहे हो, या आप कॉर्न उगा रहे हो, या आप राइस उगा रहे हो, नेक्स्ट साल में वही सेम पैसे डाल के सेम चीज़ें करके आप डबल गेहूं या डबल राइस उगा रहे हो.
No technology has changed so much. It has been changing so much. So the computing technology did that magic. It is doubling every 14 months or every 2 years, we can say, at the same cost. So that made the revolution possible, information technology revolution. And that was done in India. Most importantly, that was done in India on a sustainable basis. And this revolution then touched the heart of everybody.
Probably the highest number of scientists in NASA is from India, not from America. And not only NASA, in several other scientific institutes.
NASA or Microsoft or IBM, some of the largest numbers of engineers are from India.
Are those Indians are moving into different countries and leaving India? Is that also a fact?
Yes, that is happening, of course, because the IT engineers in these numbers which are required are available from India only. So people are started moving. I must tell the story here that this was done in C-DAC. We created, first thing is, I remember Sam Petrora at the time he was creator of C-DOT Telecom. He had come to C-DAC and he said that how many engineers you can produce? We said we can produce some 100 engineers. No. I want 1,000 engineers to be created in a very short time of 1 year, like that. That was not possible in any of the IITs, any of the institutions at that time.
Because there is the course of 3 years, 5 years.
So we created 6-month course. 6-month course, you don't know anything about IT. You don't know anything about computers. And you have to create a course.
Now I can see a ray of positivity. So I can give 6 months to my life.
Most people came from villages. They didn't know how to speak English. And when they went out, that course made them what they can be called as IT professionals who can write their own software. And that made that revolution possible. And that was created in C-DAC. That was created by me and with the entire team here. This kind of thing.
So is that course is still going on?
Still going on.
6 months of IT?
We have trained about 2 crore people.
2
crore
people?
20 lakh, 200 lakhs people. Many people were inspired to. They came from villages. They became IT engineers. They went to the US. Next flight, they went to the US.
If only 6 months people can have the understanding of IT, so that's so great, sir.
That magic was done in Pune first, in this very city first. And we created a course. And I had a colleague working with me in C-DAC called he is very well known, Vivek Sawant. He was one of the creators of this computing and this course. So when I asked him, can you create 1,000? Yes, he said, when you affirmative with emphatic affirmation that you will be able to create that. And we created this course. And it became so popular. It became because they got jobs. They got not only in India, they got jobs in the US and of course other countries. And that made the IT revolution in India.
What are the other stuffs C-DAC has done or something interesting like this?
Most interesting thing is the supercomputer itself. We never thought that we can design or we have seen, and that magic was done. That is another magic which we had done. We wrote the first software. We did the first operating system in terms of that how the computers really operate based on the operating system they have. So there are many firsts to this IT revolution, which was done, which was conceived and designed and then created in India and manufactured. What Modi ji is talking They said this must be manufactured in India, first in India. And
But it was done in 1996 at that
yes, 88 we started.
88.
88 I came to Pune, I remember, from Delhi, and this mission was given to me. I was not completely sure of that, but this was done in 3 years' time. I think nobody had done that kind of time from scratch, and most of the systems were written first time, were designed first time.
Like we just discussed that the IT professionals or engineers are going abroad or away from our country. I just heard from you today that there are 100 IITians who chose to stay in this country.
Yeah, I have this book, 100 Great IITians.
Huh.
I think those who refused to be lured by the West and contributed significantly to India's growth. So these are those 100 people who stayed when the first IITs were created.
I know one of them.
Yes.
Can you tell about those, not 99, one or two special people from those 100?
Yeah, there are many people, I think at that time, my own colleagues in IIT Delhi, some of the colleagues, they stayed in India and they are still working in India. They have become very famous in India, I think, and they made enormous contribution to India's economy.
So you chose to be here.
See, when it was decided to launch a technology mission on supercomputing, they say many scientists were called. That what will make the difference to India? The question at that time was one single factor. I think Atal Bihari Vajpayee asked that question. What is that one single factor which India can excel at the world canvas and India can make a name for itself? That answer came from many of the scientists and also from myself, is that is computing technology. Computing technology, the software technology, will make that difference, and that is definitely feasible, and we make that difference possible.
And that's truth.
That's true.
Probably one of the glorious truth of our nation.
From nothing, from starting from scratch.
आपने रॉकेट बॉयज देखी है एक वेब सीरीज? हाँ, you liked it?
I enormously liked it because this is a very true depiction of all the things.
That's a true depiction.
Almost true.
So those scientists are really rock star like they have portrayed in Rocket Boys.
They are not rock stars.
No, sir. For me, that's the definition of a rock star.
Yes.
When you are doing and dealing with those kind of intelligence, and you are fighting with a cow cart to launch a rocket.
Yes,
you need guts.
Yes, going on cycle,
everything.
Cart and carrying the rockets, and all that. Yes.
And every single time there is a funding issue for science, and I want to ask you. India is properly funding their scientific
these missions or the moon mission or what we are launching, the Mars mission. No funding is enough.
No funding is enough.
Enough because there are no limits to the sky. I think low limits to technology kind of thing. If this can be done, this also can be done. This can also be done. But there are limits. I appreciated that from the very beginning. One of the reasons for success of C-DAC mission, I think, was that I understood that those limitations. We have several priorities. We have priorities to feed our 140 crore people now. What I'm talking of. That is the first priority. I think there are several other priorities: education, medicine, hospitals. There are several priorities before the nation. How can I ask? Then I want unlimited amount of funds or some very limited amount of funds which will be available for my mission. I appreciate that. And I decided to take this under these constraints, such a mission must be undertaken.
The educational institution you have led and schools also. So please tell us something about your experience.
I think most remarkable time in my life was when I went for higher studies. You have one question, that how higher education can really contribute to India's further development.
That's the question, is like that, how much important is higher education for a person or a scientist?
I was supposed to join IIT Bombay, but something happened. There were heavy rains. I was completely drenched. I could, and that was such an experience. I said, never now here afterwards I'll go to Bombay, and I returned back to my village. I was born and brought up in a very small village of at that time population of 300. And from there I had gone to IIT Bombay, and that was first experience in Bombay. And there were heavy rains. I wrote the entrance test, and then I decided I would not go to Bombay, Mumbai at that time. My father asked, my father was very educated. Though I come from village, both my parents were highly educated, because they had returned to the village at the instruction or at the advice of Mahatma Gandhi. They said that now India is getting independence. Because I was born in 1946, 47. He said that it was clear to most people that India will get very soon independence. Then he said to many of the workers with him at Wardha, now you have to go back to village, because your first priority India has to be developed starting from bottoms of way. We must develop first the villages of India. And then of course I must share with you that I was brought up in a school which has no building of its own. It was a Ram temple.
The mandir is the school.
A mandir is the school. Most mandirs were the schools. Happened to be at that time. And I found that kind of thing, that why they are telling me India has to be developed from bottoms up. But the education, I must say, we didn't complain at that time that about the infrastructure, about the teachers, or the benches, or the furniture which you got. We used to sit on the ground, particularly that called faris. All the standards education was given in one go. All the standards will sit in one teacher. And that I really don't remember that I had anything complained about the teachers or the school. That I could not do this because of my school or something like that. We received good education. So when I see today the complaints about the infrastructure, I think they are not well founded.
When you became the head of those kind of big institutes, educational institutes, what was your approach?
One of the important opportunities, I think I had to create the NITs and also the IITs. I studied one of the IITs. I went to IIT Delhi for my PhD program, and before that I did the master's program at Baroda, MS University. MS University also has a very good atmosphere. The culture, I think the question which you had raised sometime also early in your questions, is what I learned from Baroda was the culture of the university. Very liberal education, what we talk today, the liberal education, in a true sense. Because Maharaja Sayaji Rao was the king of the Baroda state at that time. He had studied in England. And he insisted that girls and boys, and so there would not be restrictions on them, in the sense that this cannot be done, this can be. He was very liberal. I think generally, I'm talking about ancient India, Vedic India. That time we had a liberal culture where you can choose your husband by own choice, Swayamvar. I think we had.
Right.
So how liberal that society was at that time. We can see Mahabharata times or Ramayana time.
Girl will select.
So culture is very important.
So it means science depend on the reflection of culture also.
Science depends enormously on culture. Well, science is very important with scientific education, but cultural education is very important.
How do you depict the growth of women scientists and women in the periphery of science?
Yeah, women scientists have made their mark. Of course, many countries did not have that. Many European countries did not. Also, science education that we had. Of course, women have different kind of problems. Girls have different kind of problems. Even today also, this kind of things. What we require liberal culture, and I vouch for a more liberal education. At the same time, retaining the culture, retaining that ancient culture, the values, which is respect for women. Much of the time, we were getting independence, and many countries were getting independent at that time. They did not have, from even an advanced country, European countries or England at that time also, had not have that culture. Women had no voting rights. They could not represent their cases in court.
You are the creator of supercomputer, but कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि घर में वाईफाई स्लो हो गया and children are complaining?
They are not complaining, but this is a common experience. You may be working on supercomputers, but your computer will not work. Or and that experience, I think many of us had. I think where India has been made a developing country. I think I knew that kind of this will happen. But many people told me that we could not pay the salary of my team, which put together for first 6 months, because there was a file getting the approval of Rajiv Gandhi's original file without original signature of Rajiv Gandhi was missing, got missing. And they said, no, we can't take the Xerox. I had a Xerox version with me, but that they will not accept. So people were not getting salary for 6 months.
But they are doing
But they were working. They had left their jobs based on the way, again, I wrote ad, half-page ad.
Half-page ad? Like?
Invited for what is the supercomputing mission and what the mission is. And only those kind of people should come in, apply. I think who will match this kind of requirement, who will devote their life for this. I think no salary means no negotiated salary. And they will get a job as per government salary, not some extraordinary salaries. And we received a great response from the people who were actually working. They left their jobs. From Trivandrum coming here without salary, promise is there that of course C-DAC was very sought out destination for job for this one, but we are going on a Himalayan expedition, as I had wrote, the kind of thing, and those only with the bold heart should come in for that. And but because that paper was missing, I think
salary was stuck
for 6 months. People used to travel with their own money to Delhi at that time.
For the sake of science and country.
For the country, for the challenge of the work to be done.
फिर पेमेंट आया ना बाद में?
आया, 6 महीने के बाद आया.
थैंक गॉड, एटलीस्ट आया तो. गवर्नमेंट स्लो है पर एकदम मारती भी नहीं है. हाउ इज योर रिलेशन with Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam?
That time, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, what time? Trivandrum. He was in the space mission, I was in the electronics mission, kind of thing. So we used to know each other because we used to discuss. Both the missions began in Trivandrum. And he was quite some distance away, and my laboratory was also done in Trivandrum, and the electronics revolution really began in Trivandrum. So my relation was good with him, and we used to discuss many things. Problem of electronics was referred to me, and he also had challenges there in space mission. He was the team man. He assembled a super team for himself, I think, for the space mission.
Everybody is talking about Nalanda's glorious past.
Yes.
The Nalanda University is building in a new way. Where we will see Nalanda in next decade?
Somebody came to me in Pune and talked to me that, are you ready for a challenging task before you? We want to build now future Nalanda, and you have to lead it. He directly made an offer to me because of my supercomputing mission and other things. And I was very pleased because Nalanda is such a great name, the great universities of world. I think Nalanda had that name, kind of thing, that reputation. And we have read the stories of Nalanda. So can we create universities of, so that's why the example is given of often Nalanda. Can we create a full-fledged university?
Of that
time.
वो गरिमा के साथ, वो knowledge के साथ उसको
and how the teachers stayed, how the students stayed. And it was a full-fledged university of that time.
Noam Chomsky
yes.
has told that the purpose of education should not to get a job. The purpose of education is to get prepared for the life.
I never studied though the jobs were very scarce. I think even if after getting higher education, we could not get jobs at that time, because there were not so many jobs. Whether jobs or not in my mind, on my mind at all. I was studying for I think the glorious purpose of getting education or getting study for life. I think it was that is the prime objective of getting education.
Sir, tell us about the functioning of AI and how it's nowadays it's connecting with supercomputers.
See, AI means artificial intelligence, the human natural intelligence, and then can machines imitate that intelligence? And that's called artificial intelligence. This is one of the biggest problems, the greatest challenge in achieving that. Can language understanding be imitated by the machines? Can they understand our language? Our script, including our scripts, kind of thing. And that is the greatest challenge of artificial. We have precisely took that as a challenge for the AI mission in India. What is called knowledge-based system, KBCS. We called it knowledge-based computer system at that time. And can this be done? So there was a lot of research on this subject done all over the world, and including India. All the IITs were involved in that research. So because we made that as one of the next mission other than supercomputer. So this is open question, large language models. And I'm amazed at the technology. Japanese decided to correct that 5th generation computers will be made in the languages of the world, particularly Japanese, because they want to transact with the world and they did not know English at that time. So that mission was taken up. Today, I think the progress that we accomplished in languages, large language models, that has become the artificial intelligence.
There are people who are very much afraid of AI, and someday the robots will conquer the world like Hollywood films, sci-fi films.
That's a well-founded. This is today some of the greatest thinkers of the world are amazed at the progress we have made in artificial intelligence. The machines will one day take over. That is the question. Means computers will eventually take over the human race. What can be done? Almost everything can be done, and that includes one of the most difficult your language understanding. And that way it can be done not only for your mother tongue but all other languages also. And the progress is being made. I thought this progress is not possible like this at this pace, and what we have achieved today. And it is a very real threat that if that kind of intelligence machines take over, what will men do? What will humans do? That is not well founded. Perhaps I feel that no, the human intelligence beyond this. Then emotions come. Human emotions must be imitated by computers, and I am working on that problem. Can human emotions be, and how to understand that human emotions? I think not only in speech, but with also all the intonations with the emotions which humans depict. Can that be done? And I think we have made tremendous progress. So my take on that is that I think is the time that humans must accept machines as a collaborator.
And this kind of a collaboration will be like, are there moving robots roaming around in Pune someday?
Yeah, that day I think there are many movies on that.
That's why I am asking.
There are movies. That is a distinct possibility. That is actually happening also.
That's actually happening?
Actually happening.
So you find it fascinating or frightening?
Both fascinating and frightening. The challenges of that frightening will come, and many people say this is the end of humanity. That is frightening. But they create new possibilities for the humanity. So I take this as both ways.
How many years?
Very soon, within a decade.
Within a decade?
Because the whole space itself is surprising us. The way humans are, many of the labs at MIT or Google, or the projects are going on like that. Playing the games, large language translations, kind of things. And then I'm adding the emotional dimension to this further in that. Okay. Very soon.
Do you think the machines will have their own free will someday?
Machines depends upon how we define the free will.
Please elaborate, sir.
I mean, what do you call as the free will?
I can think something, I can do that as per my wish.
Machines can also do that. When I decode emotions, we can decode large language models. I'll be able to do that kind of things.
What is a computer virus?
Software, piece of software.
It is a created software to create a bug in the system.
Yes, it can be deliberately created or it can enter the system.
So after AI taking over this kind of a space, can AI create its own viruses?
It can. It has potential to create its own virus.
So do you have faced any kind of a problem through computer viruses?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah, virus problems are there in the every computer program.
Whenever you program the computer, do you feel connected to that machine or that system?
Human-machine interface, that is subjectivism. That is one research which is going on. How do we interface between human and machines? When machines are developing human-like capabilities, and that is the current research which goes on, which is called artificial intelligence. So we will not know the distinction between machine and man. And that is the thing which are on the brink of it now.
Do you think there is a very much sociological, societal pandemic is going on because of social media and mobile phones?
Yes. Our newspapers and many of the events which are happening, I think the social media is contributing to some way that how they swing the votes. We have seen that kind of things in many countries, also in India. So social media is a real thing which we are experiencing every day, and we are also creating it.
So how can we control or play it good with this?
There has been an attempt to really, both for artificial intelligence as well as social media kind of thing, we have to follow some ethics. We are referred to that question of ethics, human ethics, what we'll do, what we'll not do. I think that becomes important.
Do you use social media?
I don't use so much of social media. This one.
How many Gmail accounts you have?
I have got mail ID.
One. Only one. The man who has created Supercomputer of India has only one Gmail ID. Listen, kids, please listen to this. You are a religious person?
A religious person means you are following certain do's and don'ts according to that religion which you follow. There are several religions in the world. The spiritual means admitting that you are not just a human body with mind. You are essentially a spirit, body, mind and spirit, as we call it. Admitting that's a very vast definition. So they are not limited to your body, not just limited to your mind, not limited to this frame, what you have been given, but essentially your vast, infinite spirit.
So how your science and your spirituality comes together?
Science came to me, I think science, we learned in school days to begin with, and then it started maturing in that, my scientific quest. So there came the essential learning, who am I now? The quest to know myself. And then I started reading philosophies. What is the philosophy? And what the philosophy which appealed to me most was Advaitavad, that essential non-duality of Shankaracharya.
Tell us about this book. And
I think we talked about
AI,
artificial intelligence. That is creating machines in the image of human beings. Thinking machines. That is artificial intelligence. That is a question Alan Turing asked. And the subject of artificial intelligence was born first with the quest of what is to know what computers are, machines are, and then thinking machines, and can machines be thinking like human beings? So that is artificial. I must say this book was one of the first earliest books in India, in Indian languages and English, of course.
And I want to mention the year the book was published first. It's 1992. The book on artificial intelligence written by him in 1992.
I was a co-author with my professor Popovich from Germany.
So 32 years ago you have the concept of AI.
Yes, even before that. Even while during, I think, early years of our independence, that question has come. And we started studying AI. AI, of course, got very well known now. Then I decided that best way to understand a subject is to write a book on it. That's a famous adage. If you want to understand a subject, write a book on it.
Write a book on it.
Write a book on it. Essentially a graduate level text kind of thing, and try to understand how this interesting branch of understanding or learning comes up, and what has been the historical developments of this subject and where we are now today. That's one.
आपके साथ बैठ के मुझे एक 6 महीने का आईटी का कोर्स करने का आइडिया आ गया. आपके साथ बैठ के मेरा स्पिरिचुअल थॉट बदल गया. अभी आपके साथ बैठ के मैंने एक नया प्रोसेस सीखा कि इफ़ यू वांट टू लर्न एनी सब्जेक्ट जस्ट राइट अ बुक ऑन इट.
So long as that quest is there, that jigyasa, what is it called? Atato Brahma jigyasa. That comes right from the inner being. What is the Brahma? What is the Brahman? What is the world about? From that came all our Vedas and all this kind of thing. What is? And these questions were asked by early rishis, and that's how this thinking, these philosophies came about.
I want to know about MK story and ETH.
MKCL is Maharashtra Knowledge Corporation Limited. Now this idea came that tomorrow is the world of computers.
And which will be not limited.
We must make this a very essential breakthrough in human thinking. It came from Alan Turing at a time that he dreamt of a thinking machines, and computers were born. I think, and we wanted. We thought that this quest will take to the next realm of thinking. Computers, because they are created in the image of human, and we will create artificial intelligence. And that's how we saw that today, that everywhere we are talking about artificial intelligence. Now the question arises, can we really create that kind of artificial intelligence? And Alan Turing's answer was that, yes, definitely. Tomorrow, I think this subject, will be the quest of everybody. And we have created machines of that kind. That quest has taken us to different realms of thinking, and we have created that in machines, that thinking. So much so that we are afraid of it now. So Maharashtra Knowledge Corporation is created essentially that we must spread this knowledge of computers to the distant realms, and everybody bring into them this knowledge of computers. Everybody must be there, and they must be taught in Indian languages also.
Okay.
ETH was the concept which emerged from the spread of computers and networks. That one day it is possible to learn from home, education to home. So some of us had a dream that we'll bring education directly to home.
Now, इंग्लिश में जिसको बोलते हैं रैपिड फायर, हम बोलते हैं खटाखट सवाल और फटाफट जवाब. So you have to reply it very fast. If AI took over the world, would you be the one to reboot it?
AI will not take over the world. It is really what is called AI is a large language model, understanding human language. And that's why when we started the AI mission in India, we made possible that can we understand our local languages by the computers. AI mission was bringing our mother tongues on the computers.
If you could switch lives with any scientist for a day, who would it would be?
Einstein.
Einstein.
Yes.
What is the most ridiculous thing you have ever done in the name of science?
I used to play with that time electricity had just come, and I used to play with them. So that everything. One day I left all the connection on, and my mother stepped on it, and she had a huge shock and really burns legs. And that was a very ghastly moment for me, what I had done.
तो उसके बाद मार पड़ी थी डैडी से
मार नहीं
आपको?
पड़ी. I think my father of course got very angry later on when he came to know.
Father used to be get angry earlier.
Yes.
If you could create an AI powered superhero, what would be its power?
I would like to create none other than God himself.
वाओ, ये होते हैं ऊंचे लोग, ये होते हैं ऊंचे विचार. हम अभी तक मार्वल्स और टीवी सीरीज में फंसे हुए हैं भाई. इनको दूसरी दुनिया बनानी है. एकदम सही जवाब है. कंप्यूटर साइंस छोड़ के फेवरेट हॉबी क्या है?
Philosophy.
What is your favorite travel destination?
My travel destination is myself, within me.
This is deep.
I would like to travel within me,
What's your favorite way to relax?
reading books.
Can you tell us about a book which has created a significant impact on your life?
Vichar Sagar. What is the
Vichar
human
Sagar.
thought? It's like ocean.
Ocean of
And
thoughts.
why Nisharananda of Punjab?
Can you tell us about a role model or mentor who has inspired you?
The role model that really inspired me has been Saint Naneshwar.
Do you want to create any gadget?
I am not inspired by gadgets,
Yeah.
though I was responsible for bringing one gadget in the world. With not the world, with not myself alone, me and my team, all that kind of things. But I am not really inspired by gadgets.
Do you have any kind of a hidden talent like Einstein? It's violin.
I think a very average person. Though I excelled my education all along. And until I had my PhD from IIT Delhi, but I don't think I got some extraordinary talent myself, except for the talent of, I think, thinking unthinkable something.
Thinking unthinkable.
Yes,
This is the secret talent.
yes.
But it's not secret, sir. We all know. we all know. We have this information that you can think the unthinkable. You like music?
I said I really like music. First, my interest in music not in classical music, but it began from the Hindi movies.
Through Kishore Kumar.
Not Kishore Kumar alone, through many songs, which created a different culture in India, Hindi culture, Hindi movie culture, and which has become so popular that we have integrated this with our life.
A supercomputer have a mother also, like we call it motherboard. Do you want to name any part with your name?
Some people propose that,
Huh.
but I think that I have seen so many people more intelligent than me. I think I am not qualified for that yet.
What is your thought about quantum computers?
Quantum is next revolution in science itself, in human thinking. The quantum technology, again, to understand the basic nature of knowledge. Not I don't want to know here this and that. I want to know what is knowledge itself. And that thinking has led to quantum sciences and quantum computers now, I think, which is a great revolution in computing. If you all ask that what is the next revolution is quantum computers.
And what will be their specialties?
Unimaginable computing power in a box, small box. Infinite computing, almost infinite, reaching to. And quantum is not just mathematics. All kind of thinking. Like the questions you ask to Google, kind of thing, all kind of things we should be able to answer that question.
It's really nice to meet you, to have you on our show.
After imagine, I was very impressive, very inspired by your questions. We have given so much thought to to know who am I and whom I am going to interview. Uh, and I was really impressed by your questions first and inspired by your questions. Not these questions were not asked to me by anyone so far in this order.
थैंक्स. कभी कभार ज़्यादातर लोगों को जवाब की वजह से क्रेडेंशियल मिलता है, मुझे सवालों की वजह से मिला है. थैंक्स.
Human knowledge began like this from that quest sawal.
Who am I? The eternal question.
The eternal question.
हाँ.
I really admire, appreciate, acclaim this channel. I think by young man like you. And please let's visit this channel. Let's gain the knowledge which you don't have at present.
Thanks.